Mappumappu3d says, "Hi Abe, I'm currently a college student doing my internship and I'm almost ready to graduate. I've been working on building my portfolio and refining my skills, especially in stylized, game-ready 3D art. I really appreciate it if you could review my portfolio, not just in terms of quality, but also direction. I'd love to know what my work seems to be leading me towards, game art, props, environments, what strengths stand out, and what areas should I focus on improving as I prepare to enter the industry." Let's take a look. Mappumappu from Philippines. Nice. Okay, cool. I think this is from Enhance School or something. Yeah, there you go, Enhance. I've seen this tutorial before. Again, you guys know my stance on tutorials. It's fine if you're going to be using tutorials, but I prefer when people do stuff like this, where you take a tutorial and then you do your own piece following that tutorial. It's better for your portfolio. It's more unique. It might give you, again, a better result, and you can still learn and apply all of this information. This is not bad, but one of the things that I'm noticing, and I'm going to mention it because we are, of course, dealing with a little bit of hand-painted stuff right here. We need to focus on material rendering. Right now, every single element right here looks very flat. What is material rendering? Material rendering is understanding if this is breath and we want to make it just a little bit more shiny because there's like oils and stuff on it, right? We could, for instance, let's grab this one right here and just, where am I? Let's push this a little bit higher up. There we go. We can add a little bit of this color and blur it, right? Like if you want a surface to look like matte, the highlight of the surface is going to be quite blurred, right? It's not going to be as precise. But for instance, this is a tomato. So if this tomato is going to be a lot more shiny, then we definitely need to incorporate higher points, right? Like higher values to really indicate that this thing is shiny. And it's very simple things, right? As you can see, it's just like a couple of little touches where light meets certain angles of the element. And just by doing that, for instance, the olives, they tend to be a lot shinier. So just by doing that, we're going to be able to give more visual interest to the whole thing, right? So now that looks like there's actual variation on the materials of the object. And this is just like a quick draw on top of this thing, but it's one of the, like cheese, right? Like cheese would definitely be really, really shiny. So I would like to add again, a couple of points right there. Really make the cheese look really, really tasty. Now you guys are, now I want to buy a pizza. Right? So this is material rendering. And this is it's something that took me quite a bit to understand in terms of hand-painted stuff. Hand-painted has a bunch of different layers. This is one of them, understanding that how you render stuff is going to is going to affect how we perceive the elements. So in this particular case, if we want things to look more alive, more interesting, well, we need to make them a little bit shinier, right? So not everything's going to be super shiny. For instance, the cross here, we can definitely leave a little bit more matte, and therefore the shine is a little bit more diffused. But some of the other elements, especially the cheese, we do want to see that super strong reflection. We can even go with pure white, which is normally advised against, and add a couple of really intense highlights just in just a couple of areas here and there, right? For the pepperoni and stuff. And that's gonna really, really give this sort of the nice intrinsic. It needs roughness map and normal maps. No, laminate. You need to understand that this thing right here is hand painted stuff. So this is a specific approach to certain art direction where you don't use normal maps, you don't use roughness. Everything is painted on the color map, and it's very efficient for engines to do this. It also has this very amazing, I love hand painted stuff. If I could work full time doing hand painted stuff, I would be super happy. But this is a style that requires a very good understanding of all of these principles that I'm mentioning. So Mappu, right now I see that you are going definitely on the hand painted sort of journey, and I would encourage you to keep pushing that if that's what you want to do. Optimization wise, there's things that we can definitely improve upon. This one's looking better, but my best advice is material definition, material render and material definition. Here's another example with this one. What I see with this one is that this particular element, if we desaturate this, everything is of the same values, right? We don't see any specific gradient. Here's what we can do. I'm gonna duplicate this thing. I'm gonna Control L. I'm gonna make it a little bit brighter. There we go. Let me see if I can mask it here with Photoshop. Yes, okay. So I'm gonna mask that. There we go. And then what I'm gonna do on this is I'm gonna use a brush to mask this area right here. See that? This one, I don't know. I'm gonna set this to like a lighten mode. So this is what we need to have or do when we're dealing with this kind of like assets. We need to have a very obvious directionality of where light is coming from. What is the top part of the element? What is the bottom part of the element? Because right now this is way too dark and way too uniform. Especially again in games like League of Legends, which you're using here as part of your like rendering. I saw like this one right here. Yeah, like that ground plane. You're gonna be seeing this from the top. So we need to be able to see light hitting from the top. Again, it's very, very important. Mappu, hope that helps, my friend. Let's go to the next one because we're actually taking a little bit longer for H1 right here, which I don't mind. Hopefully you don't mind either.